You know what's awesome? Rockets. And today on the Big Idea Experience Live, we're going to teach you how to make your very own rocket. That is awesome. So stay tuned. Well, hey everybody, welcome. We're so glad that you're tuning in to the Big Idea Experience. This week we've got something live. It's going to be really fun for this big idea. We've got a live studio audience, and we're kicking off this school year in style by talking about something really exciting. We don't just have one big idea this month, but we are focusing on our big three. So let's start off by saying our big three all together. Number one, treat others right.
Treat others right.
You got it. Number two is to make smart decisions.
Make smart decisions.
And number three, maximize your potential.
Maximize your potential.
That's right. And when you put the big three to work inside of you, it can change the world around you. And to show what that could be like today, we've got a super fun experiment. That's right. Up here, I have some really cool ingredients. This is called an Erlenmeyer flask, and it's filled right now with vinegar, and I have baking soda right here. Do you guys know what happens when we mix the two? That's right. It's kind of like an explosion. It's really cool. And so I have the baking soda here, and when I pour it in, it's going to do something really cool. Okay, so watch this. We have a lot of ingredients, so we could really make it fun. Check it out. Right? That was pretty cool. That was an awesome experiment. Now, the thing about this, it's a really simple experiment how that works. What it is it's actually just an acid-base reaction. You see, the vinegar that's inside the flask, that was an acid, and the baking soda that I poured in, that was a base. And so what happens when these two react is it releases carbon dioxide, and that's what makes it super exciting. But when I see this, I felt like there was a lot of wasted potential. And I thought maybe we could see what would happen if we put this in a small confined space. Would you guys like to see what happens? All right. Well, we're going to let this represent what happens when we put the big three to work inside of us to change the world around us. But for this part, I'm actually going to need some help. Is there anybody who would like to help me? Now, I've got this small paint can here. It's made out of metal, and it's really strong. And so what this paint can is going to represent, Mr. Tyler, it's going to represent you. That's why I drew a funny little face on it, right? Isn't that pretty great? Okay, so our ingredients up here, we have our baking soda and our vinegar. Those things are going to represent the big three and what happens when we put them to work in our life. So when you have the big three, that means that you treat others right, that you make smart decisions, and you maximize your potential. I'm going to give this back to you so we don't get it messy, because things might get messy. So let's say, for example, Tyler, that you decided you're going to treat others right. So when you're on the school bus and you're on your way to school and you see somebody who's getting bullied, that means that not only do you not join in and bully that kid, but you go up to the bus driver and tell the bus driver what was happening so they can stop it. Okay, so what I'm going to have you do for me, Tyler, is I'm going to have you take this vinegar and pour it right into that cup for me. Or let's say, for example, that you decide you're going to make smart decisions. And so you're spending the night at your friend's house, and they say, hey, let's watch this movie. I think it's going to be really good. But you know, Tyler, that your mom and your dad, they wouldn't want you to watch that video. They wouldn't approve of it. So you have a really hard choice. You can either just give in and watch it and hope for the best, or you can say, you know what? I think my mom and dad have a reason that they don't want me to watch that. And you could not watch it, and that would be making the smart decision. So what I'm going to have you do now is I'm going to have you pour this baking soda into this cup for me, okay? Nicely done. So we've got the big three here, and we talked too about maximizing our potential. So let's say, for example, Tyler, that you have a really big test coming up tomorrow. And you could stay up all night the night before playing video games if you wanted to. But you decide, you know what? I always do better on tests if I study. So instead, you take that time and you go over your study guide, and it pays off because the next day, you get a really super good grade on your test. That's awesome. That's maximizing your potential inside of you. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to seal this lid up with my handy dandy hammer here. Oh yeah. All right, now, Tyler, for this part, I'm going to have you come stand right over here for me, okay? Because when you do that, when you put the big three to work inside your life, it can change the world around you. Check it out. How cool is that? Now, here's the thing about what we just saw. Come on over for just a second, Tyler. What we just saw is the same thing that happens when we put the big three to work inside of us. You see, our experiment here, you didn't see necessarily what was happening right away, but something was building. Something was building, and that was strong character. And strong character is what allows you to interact with others, to do the best that you very can, and to make the choices that you know are smart. So that would be what it would look like if you, Tyler, put the big three to work inside of you. But let's take a look at what it would be like if your entire school used the big three. Check this out. What I've got here is not just one small quart-sized paint can, but I have 4 gallon-sized paint cans. And what will happen is I'm just going to turn this lever. The baking soda and vinegar are going to mix, and we'll see what happens. Who wants to see us turn this lever? 3, 2, 1. Any second now. Oh. Now that is awesome. So make sure that you treat others right, that you make smart decisions, and that you maximize your potential. And when you put the big three to work inside of you, it can change the world around you.